Beijing says differences with Washington must be addressed through dialogue. It was responding to U.S. President Donald Trump expressing reluctance to press ahead with his threats to impose tariffs on China.
这个问题我们已经多次表明了立场，中美经贸合作是互利共赢的。我们认为，如果双方有分歧和摩擦，应当通过对话和协商来解决。贸易战、关税战没有赢家，不符合任何一方的利益，也不利于世界。
Mr. Trump marking his return to the White House with a restating of threats to hit Beijing with 10% tariffs on top of existing levies. This would take effect on the 1st of February. When asked on Fox News if he could make a deal with China on trade, Mr. Trump was optimistic.
We have one very big power over China, and that's tariffs. And they don't want them, and I'd rather not have to use it. But it's a tremendous power over China.
Well, we're joined by Nick Harper reporting live from Washington, D.C. Nick, at least an apparent softening of tone from President Trump. What could have made him change his position, at least for the moment, on tariffs on China?
Yeah, well, it's very interesting. A much calmer, more measured tone, almost conciliatory in his approach. So far, at least. Lots of positive comments coming out of that interview with Fox News. He said that he'd always had a great relationship with President Xi. He had called him friendly. He also said that he hopes to get along with China. But as we heard there, he also said that the US has tremendous power over China in the form of tariffs. I mean, essentially, he's approaching this like a deal. So with China or any other country, he threatens those tariffs to try and put pressure on them in the hope of getting a better deal further down the road, knowing that if the other country is not willing to work with him, then he can, of course, impose those tariffs. He also said in that interview, all we want is fairness. And he said when it comes to trade, he wants to level the playing field. So there is still that room to maneuver, to impose the tariffs. And remember, this week, he warned that he could impose tariffs of 10% on China from February the 1st, so at the end of next week. And on top of that, during the campaign season last year, when he was running for president, he threatened tariffs of up to 60% on Beijing. So it's a conciliatory tone for now, but there is always that possibility that, quite simply, President Trump decides to change his mind and decides to go the route of tariffs.
Nick, of course, leveling the playing field on trade, one priority for Mr. Trump. The other, of course, immigration. Our mass deportation operation is now ongoing. Do we have any details on that?
Yeah, we do. I mean, these raids, this mass deportation, it was something that he promised on the campaign trail, made it central to his re-election bid. Those raids have now started, as have the deportations. The new White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, gave more details in a post on social media. She said that 538 illegal immigrant criminals had been arrested. She said that that included a suspected terrorist, along with 4 members of a Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua. And also on top of that, she said that a convicted sex criminal who'd been convicted of sex crimes against minors had been arrested. These raids taking place across multiple cities: Boston, Denver, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Seattle, and here in Washington, D.C. Caroline Leavitt also pointing out that deportations had started and hundreds of illegal immigrant criminals had been sent out of the United States via military aircraft. All of this, of course, part of that plan from President Trump to carry out the largest mass deportation operation in US history. And there are also warnings to officials who try and stand in his way. The Justice Department has threatened criminal charges against any state or local officials who quite simply don't cooperate with these detentions and deportations. But already several cities coming forward, including New York and Chicago, saying that the Trump administration cannot force their local law enforcement to help detain and deport immigrants.
Oh, not even a week into the presidency of Donald Trump and all those changes. Nick Harper reporting live there on them from Washington, D.C.